Joining us now is OjyOkpe, with stories trending around the world. Looking bright after the weekend. Hello,
yes,
Janex.
it was a great weekend for some people, while it wasn't for some. Good morning, Ayo. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
You are representing Nigeria very well. I'm so proud of you, really. I know you love our country. We all do, and we want to see
I saw
it
you yesterday.
Doing what?
Dazzling in green.
Oh, on the show,
yes,
on the morning show. Yes. You know, we know what to do. Good morning, Ayo.
Morning.
Perfect.
Morning.
Well, all right.
Ayo.
This is it.
So, funny enough.
Is your name Ayo too?
Yeah, my name is Ayo, one of my many names.
Oh, wow.
So, I've got Oluwaseun, I've got Ayo, I've got Owolabi.
We have a troublesome Ayo that is a director there as well.
It's still in place, you know, we give a lot of names.
Ayo, I love the meaning too.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's begin. What's trending? Well, as Nigeria marked its 63rd anniversary on Sunday, October 1st, a tanker laden with premium motor spirit driving along the Warri-Benin Road fell with its contents spilling into a nearby swamp. Some young people rushed the scene to scoop fuel into jerry cans. Before long, an explosion erupted, and the fire engulfed the area, killing at least 12 people. A commuter who was at the scene of the incident shared her experience while calling out the federal government over negligence.
Federal Minister of Works, Umahi, please, what is your reaction to this crisis? This is a national crisis. Are you both celebrating independence? There is nothing to celebrate. There is nothing to celebrate in Nigeria. Look at Nigerians. Look at Nigerians. People have been aflamed from the collusion of the gridlock by bad roads. Bad road without palliative, bad road without alternative routes, bad road without coordination. Look at, people are still burning. People are still burning. Vehicles are burning. Nigerians are dying in their hundreds and thousands for something that can easily be fixed. Bad roads. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Come to the aid of commuters.
This was a horrific scene, horrific incident. The lady there was saying traveling is our fundamental human right. I mean, this Benin Supply Road has been like this for years. This is unacceptable. People are dying while others are celebrating independence. What right do people have again in this country if they cannot even travel? This young lady also said that, you know, we can't travel. If it's not accident, it is kidnapping on our major roads. Ayo.
Yes, very sad story and quite unfortunate that this happened on Independence Day, when already people were saying that we didn't have a lot to celebrate because of the prevailing economic circumstance. But rightly said, I'd mentioned something earlier about the fact that there has to come a time, Oji, where we can sue government for negligence and loss of lives. If we don't do that, we'll continue to see government, because this is negligence. If the trailer didn't topple over, the people didn't scoop the fuel again, that speaks to the poverty levels and the desperation of people in Nigeria. Yes, we might say, oh, they've been warned, but people just want to survive. They want to make ends meet. But the first and the initial thought is that the road is the cause of the casualties. Some reports say 12, some reports say 5, some eyewitness reports say 20.
And 30, I've seen 30.
Who will be held responsible until we get to that point as a nation where there are consequences and people answer for crime to humanity, because it's a crime like this. That we'll continue to see, because what stops us from again from the budgetary allocation to that road, nothing being done by it's a federal government road, nothing being done, no money, then people keep dying. Don't we have any value for human life? Yes.
Well, the woman has called on the Minister of Works and Housing, Dave Umahi, to pay attention and also to find a way, like Ayo said. A budget for that road. It's unacceptable. Nigerians are dying. Well, in the meantime, the president's maiden speech, in which he approved a 25,000 Naira provisional wage increment for average low-income workers, elicited several reactions on social media. The chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, after a meeting with labor leaders, said, owing to a lot of chatter on Twitter, the federal government decided to expand the wage increase to all workers.
There was a lot of chatter on Twitter about the issue of low income workers only fall into the category of the wage bill. And they supported that, and that has we did communicate with Mr. President, and he quickly did say and agree that that all categories of workers will be given the wage bill. There's nothing like low income, mid income, or high income.
All right. Owing to chatter on Twitter, I must say now, our famous X is now a great tool to have. Well, thank you very much to Twitter, X now known. Well, the Labour Union rejected the 25,000 Naira provisional wage increment in a bid to avert the planned indefinite nationwide strike set to commence on Tuesday, October 3rd. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved 35,000 Naira as the provisional wage increment for all treasury-paid federal government workers for the period of 6 months. Let's take some reactions. This is from Olu. He wrote, if the NLC agrees to this provisional wage proposition by the federal government, then it should just be scrapped already. What real impact will it have, even in the short term? And what follows after this? On what projections is the government making this offer? Well, Ken wrote, the clear and grave danger in our hands is a situation where there is no collective bargaining between the government and the Nigerian workers through the NLC. The government alone decides and then shoves it down the throat of organized labor. Democracy is gone. Well, Columbus wrote, it is too sad that the federal government continue insulting their citizens in the name of minimum wage. A bag of rice is 48 to 50,000 Naira, while the federal government is shamelessly announcing 35,000 Naira wage. What is National Assembly's monthly allowance? Over to you, Rufai.
I think it's time that government officials to stop shaming the government and shaming Nigerians. I mean, what's the meaning of chatter on Twitter?
Chatter on Twitter.
So it's chatter on Twitter that people use to make government policies, right? So now, if government says something and I get 100 people and 1,000 bots on Twitter and talk against that policy, government official will say, okay, based on chatter on Twitter, let's change it. Let's change government policy. We've become a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a bleeding joke. For Christ's sake, what nation have we built? Chatter on Twitter. For a labor matter that has been in dispute, the labor government set up a committee to jointly review on the 19th of June. Nothing came out of it. They are setting up another committee. Nothing came out of it. The president made an announcement. And who wrote that speech by saying, low grade average workers? Very derogatory tone. They can't specify the grade level. Then a couple of hours later, then they just called the president to rescind his speech and add 10,000 Naira more. And they said, based on chatter on Twitter, who did this to us as a nation? What have we become? I mean, see, if you can't tell the truth because of your tribal or religious affiliation and you see a wrecking ball happen and you keep quiet, you are worse than the problem. I'm going to quote Professor Wole Soyinka, the man in you died that day. What has happened to us as a nation? For pertinent national issues that have lingered for a while, it's chatter on Twitter that make people change their mind. You took this decision without the NLC. You made a lot of other very nebulous decisions
without the NLC.
And when we speak the truth, they say, oh, it's emotional.
No, this is real.
See, you guys don't understand how dire things have become in Nigeria. We're a joke to the world. Nobody respects the giant of Africa any longer. Look at what ordinary Niger did to us. Look at what ordinary Niger did to us. And now we are seated here, we are saying, and this is the chief of staff to the president.
All right.
Chatter on Twitter.
Dr.
Please, I want the government to go and introspect and have dialogue with labor this time around with the mindset of fixing the problem and stop making very nebulous pronouncements like, we will fast track CNG. Huh?
We're fine.
Specific dates. This is a government.
It is the truth.
This is a government. This is not a tea party. This is a government. The government.
Dr. Abati, chatter on Twitter. That's the point. I want you to, I know you have commented. So, I mean, what does this mean? Does it mean the president is listening? Why is it that they took that decision at the time that they did? Is it to avert the strike?
Okay, number one.
I wouldn't want
We've been on this matter since June. Okay? And Labour, at some point, had to say, look, the federal government of Nigeria has abandoned the negotiating table. Now, why is the federal government of Nigeria waiting till the very last minute? Because these steps that they have taken now, they could have taken those steps much earlier if they were listening to the demands, about 5 of Labour. What the president hurriedly did was, in that speech, Independence Day speech, was to try to respond to Labour, some kind of midnight intervention to try to save the situation. But if you look in terms of the details, these are mostly promissory notes. I've made a point. There was even no agreement as to what the provisional 6 months wage increase will be for workers. They took a decision that it would be 25,000 naira. Then the chief of staff came later in the day that, they drew the attention of the president to it. That, look, it should not be for only average low-grade workers. Then the president gave approval that, okay, increase it to 35,000. We're running government on the basis of a word of mouth. Because that thing that Gbajabi Amila reported, it could qualify as hearsay. The president said, the president told me. It's not documented anywhere. The official document that is out there is a statement that is 25,000. Okay, maybe the Minister of Information then documented it by saying we agreed at 35,000, making it look like organized labor officials who went there, they begged for an extra 10,000 naira.
There are two things that are confusing for me, Dr. Abati. So it's 35,000 naira for tertiary government workers and then 25,000 naira for everybody, or is it the 35 for everybody? That's the question.
It was the 25,000 naira that was increased to 35,000.
Okay. Was it increased to 35,000?
But for 6 months.
For 6
and the question is, where is that money going to come from? As for compressed natural
government policy.
As for CNG, which was one of the original demands of Labour, we have asked the question, where is that CNG coming from? If we are going to provide the CNG to run vehicles, okay, where is it going to come from? At a time we even have crisis of production with regard to CNG. How many vehicles are they going to provide? 100,000 vehicles for over 200 million people? Would they give? How many vehicles can they even give us in this side of the city? On this side of the city. And then number 3, you say you will give 25,000 naira per month from September to October to 15 million households. The same 15 million households that we have been arguing about, that the National Social Register, since the time of the Buhari administration, has been a source of problem. They say they give people 25,000 naira. We saw them once distributing money in public. Till today, do you know how many people collected money under this National Social Register? Is your name or my name?
They said everybody, I must collect my 25,000. I heard for all workers. That's what he said. There's nothing like minimum. There's nothing like this.
You're a federal government worker.
and then this is for people who are paid from the treasury. I guess they are referring to federal government workers.
Yes.
Now, how about states? How about private sector? So even trying to address the problem, they will cause more problems. Because people in the states will say, well, federal government has announced 35,000. And the state will say, no, it's not federal government. That's when they will remember that this is supposed to be a federal system and that there is a distinction. And then, of course, they say they are forming a subcommittee. Look, in Nigeria, once you hear they have set up this committee, they've set up that subcommittee, another subcommittee will review the findings of the subcommittee. That means government doesn't intend to treat the problem. Right. That subcommittee and additional subcommittee, they can still keep sitting forever. However, one issue that Labour will still have to address will be the letter from the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, to the Council to Organize Labour, Femi Falana SAN, reminding both Council and his clients that there is a subsisting order from the National Industrial Court, an injunction forbidding organized labor from going on strike. Will organized labor defy that subsisting order? And if that happens, what will the office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice do?
All right.
Take labor to court again? We'll wait to see.
We wait to see. We'll take another story. Social media was awash on Independence Day with reactions trailing the order. by a United States District Court directing the Chicago State University to release the credentials of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, no later than today, October 2nd. Justice Nancy Maldonado of the U.S. District Court dismissed Tinubu's objection to the September 20 decision of Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert, insisting that Atiku had the right to have access to the records. She directed CSU to produce all relevant and non-privileged documents and also cautioned Tinubu that any request for a stay before the court will be denied. Atiku had asked for the documents for use in the Nigerian courts to support his argument that Tinubu forged a diploma certificate he claimed to have obtained from CSU in 1979 and submitted to INEC for the 2023 presidential elections. Well, let's take some reactions, Ayo, before I come to you. This is from Bayo Ononuga, who wrote, Tinubu's personal lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, Babatunde Ogala, said whatever document Atiku gets from the Chicago State University is no longer useful. The headless mob is, I can't say this word, excited over nothing. The documents can no longer be used. It is of no value. We have passed that stage. Ogala broke down the request of Atiku to CSU, some of which the school already gave to the Presidential Election Petition Court before 6th September judgment, in which it dismissed Atiku and Peter Obi's petition. One is whether President Tinubu attended Chicago State University. The answer is yes. Second, what are his grades in school? The school had already provided that. I don't know if I missed that. I'm not sure if I saw the grades at this point. Yeah, but you know who was trending yesterday?
Who was trending?
The judge was trending yesterday. But Aki Oshutokun wrote, Judge Nancy Maldonado confidently appeared on camera without hiding her face. Her judgments were clear, free from complications, insults, or ambiguities, and easily understandable to even children. This exemplifies how an unbiased judiciary operates, focusing solely on the case's merits. They neither threaten plaintiffs nor defend the accused, maintaining impartiality and diligence. I would like to take this last one before I come to you, Ayo. Well, in the meantime, a video showing the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, throwing an apparent jab at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for trying to block access to his academic records at the Chicago State University surfaced online. Peter Obi was speaking to students of Princeton University about the importance of good leadership, where he boasted that his academic records can be verified. Let's take a look.
We have all the talents and everything all over the world. It's a question of the leadership has to show it. You have to start by saying, my name is Peter Obi. I'm from this town. I went to this primary school, this secondary school, this university, and people come. They're very important. You know, when Chika was saying my CV, he said Harvard. I said, no, Chika, I did a program in Harvard. I'm an alumnus of Oxford and Cambridge. It can go and be verified.
Verified.
I don't need to put injunction for you not to see it. Go and tell them in Nsukka whether they'll give you my transcript. These are things we must. And we must do it and say, this is who we are. Because that's what makes us.
Well, I think this is the crux of the matter, really. It's just being confident of who you are. I think the whole debacle is the fact that Tinubu had gone ahead to, block that access to, Atiku to obtaining his certificate. I think this is really the issue here.
I'm really excited, and I must say congratulations. I don't know, should we be congratulating ourselves that a court in the US has said that we can finally have access to the records of our president?
I don't know.
Shouldn't have been the case. Well, just a tongue-in-cheek, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party had said that he went to Oxford and Cambridge. We know some of his classmates who can say he was in school.
He said go and verify.
Yeah, and we even have classmates who can testify that was a bright student.
He's class one.
He's right here.
Dr. Abati, you were in school with Peter Obi in Sage Business School in
Fine,
Oxford.
please, I said some of the classmates. Anyways, what I was just going to say is that finally we'll uncover and put to rest this matter that has gone on for 3 decades.
Yes.
Did he to the university, what's the identity, what grades is it, and then let's go on. And hopefully there's nothing to hide.
Yes.
So he should actually be excited that finally I'll rest. Let the people know what I really
so
I think
too.
so. Congratulations
I like
to the president as well.
Yes, Dr. Bati, congratulations to you. I was not asking you any question. I was just congratulating you for going to the school. Well, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.